Is it true that you actually got invited to the White House to meet President Bush?
Yeah, Bush invited me to the White House, gave me a sick tour.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cassius Morris Show. Thanks for tuning in to episode 204 of the podcast. A blast from the past for all of my nostalgia lovers out there. I'm certainly one of them. If you're in your 20s, or if you were not living under a rock when it came to popular culture on television in the early 2000s, Kyle Massey is definitely a staple of that era. Starting his run on the Disney Channel at just 7 years old, Kyle Massey was cast as one of the lead characters in That's So Raven, one of Disney's leading sitcoms that ushered in a new era of comedic entertainment. If that wasn't enough, Kyle went on from That's So Raven to earn his own spin-off show called Corey in the House.
I'm the new kid, moving in, getting it done, and I'm officially the candidate for having some fun, you know?
You better calm down, Corey.
Yeah. I'm talking about
Where he played the son of the presidential chef at the White House and ultimately elevated his status as an actor. Since Corey in the House, Kyle has gone on to gain nearly 200 television and film credits, multiple voice acting jobs, cameos, and even a music career. Now, what you're about to see right here is an exclusive, rare interview. Kyle Massey is a very private person, and it is a bit of a feat to get him to talk, which is why I greatly appreciate him taking the time to come on the podcast and share a little bit of insight with us. If you like the podcast you see today, please make sure to hit that subscribe button wherever you're tuning into this program, be it YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio. Hit that subscribe button and leave a comment or review. So without further ado, let's get into my exclusive podcast with Kyle Massey.
Come on, man, hit me with it. I'm ready. First off, do you recognize this jersey I have on?
I would be lying if I said I knew exactly what it was.
Right here, I'll give you a hint. I'm gonna turn around, okay?
Okay, what up?
Hold on, watch this. Ready? You see the back?
Oh, okay. So this is actually an authentic jersey.
Yeah, bro. This is the Will Smith Bel Air Academy jersey from Fresh Prince.
Very nice. Where'd you get that?
I got this from some jersey collab that I did. I forgot the name of it. I think it was Jersey Champs.
Very cool. You like to collect stuff like that?
I love jerseys, man. I love jerseys, hats, Pokemon cards. I love it all. I'm a big collector, man.
I know you got some of those video game systems too, the retro ones.
Yeah, bro. I got the original Sega Genesis. I got the Dreamcast. I got the first generation Xbox, first PlayStation, PS2, PS3, 4, every Xbox 360. All of them, man. All of them.
What's your favorite game right now?
Fortnite. I'm addicted.
All day. Okay.
Fortnite.
Very cool. Very cool. So Kyle, I just wanted to go back with you because you guys just came up on a big anniversary, the 18-year anniversary of That's So Raven. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, man. It's mind-blowing.
Wild ride, right? I mean, yeah, it's crazy. So you were coming up in Atlanta, correct?
Yes, sir. Born and raised in ATL, Georgia.
Very nice. So talk to me about your upbringing in Atlanta. How many siblings did you have and what was life like out there?
It's just my brother and I in Georgia, man. Life was great. My mom, she was worked at UPS. My dad was always doing heating and air conditioning. So, my mom really just kind of just saw this lane for us to just kind of do something completely different. She took us on a few open casting calls. We had some really good reactions, I guess you could say, some feedback. And my mom she decided to take us to LA. And I flew to LA. I was there for about 4 months. My brother and I, we went on like a bunch of auditions. And then that's when my brother was Simba in The Lion King. And then when he was Simba in The Lion King, that actually helped us stay in LA for an additional 3 months. And then basically the whole time I was in LA, I didn't get any job. And then my dad basically was like, you know what, man, you guys have, spent all this money in California. I'm about to get on a plane and I'm about to come pick you guys up. You guys got to come back to Atlanta. Like, you try to pursue your dream. It just didn't work out, but we just can't afford to be out in LA. Yeah. And so my mom literally was like, all right, well, we're going to go on this one last audition before we just pack up and just go back to Atlanta and say we tried. And that audition was That's So Raven. And I went to the Disney Channel building. Disney had me wait outside for like 2.5 hours.
Damn.
So they had auditioned like 3,000 or 4,000 kids for Corey.
Wow.
And it was down to like me and this one other kid. And this kid was like really famous. He had movies with Will Smith and all this stuff. And then he actually showed up late to his audition. Long story short, everyone else walking out of the room ended up walking out with the job. And then when I came out the room, I didn't have the job. So, but it was my last audition before we gave up anyways. And then my mom just went to drive and give the last check to our agent. And then my mom went inside to drop the check off. And then my manager called me and told me that I got the job. And then my mom canceled our flights and we never went back to Atlanta. And that was 22 years ago this year. We left the day after Thanksgiving in 2000 or 2001, something like that.
Man, so you guys were actually getting ready to leave LA and you get the call like, oh, you're going to have to stay, cancel that flight.
Yeah. I think
That's
she told me,
insane.
she was like, Kyle, how was it meeting Raven? I was like, oh, it was cool. She was really nice. You know, like we were talking about the fact that we're both from Atlanta. She was like, was she nice to you? I was like, yeah, she was really sweet. And then she was like, well, you better get used to her because you're going to be Corey on That's So Raven. I was like, dope.
Just making sure you liked it, sort of fleshing it out at first.
Nah, she was just trying to flex on me. She just wanted to drop the news.
Right.
Like
in a
cool
creative way.
Yeah.
So were you reading the scripts with Raven in the audition and how many times did you read for the part?
I think I went, man, I don't even remember. I was 7. So
It's a long time ago.
But I remember going on a lot of auditions for That's So Raven. But what happened was I was actually supposed to be on Even Stevens. So like I read with Shia and like all these people for Even Stevens. I got the producers. I was supposed to play Beans on Even Stevens.
Cool.
And the creators of Even Stevens, they also created Full House and That's So Raven and Corey in the House. Like they're the same people. So when I didn't get Even Stevens, they kept me in mind for That's So Raven. So I kind of got to jump straight to directors. Normally you go through casting directors and then producers and then directors and then the network. And then, you know, that's when the final decision. So I kind of got to skip a few auditions for Raven. And then I think I went on like 3 or 4 auditions for Raven. And then the last one was at the network. Man, it was like the world's biggest table. It was every single Disney executive in the world. Because you got to understand at this time, Disney wasn't the #1 child's programming network in the world.
Right.
So
you guys were going to become that with this programming. So you didn't know just how big this was going to be because you were part of the starting lineup of what really made Disney Channel iconic at that time.
Yeah, I mean, Disney Channel had some big shows. They had Lizzie McGuire and Even Stevens. Those are their big shows. But Disney wasn't what we know it is today. It wasn't like Disney, you know. So it was a little different at that time. So they were, you know, it was all hands on deck to kind of put this new show together that could potentially propel the network forward.
What was it like for you when your brother Christopher got some parts before you and you guys are both out in LA? You're both trying to do the same thing. What was the feeling like there between you guys?
I'm always happy for my brother, you know, like just always hype. You know, it was never really competition between he and I, but our shows were always in competition. I was #1 on Disney Channel. He was #1 on Nickelodeon. So we were always fighting for the #1 spot. So it was like for about 2.5, 3 years, there was always a Massey at #1 or 2,
right?
Which was a blessing. So you can't really ask for more than that, you know?
What was the family's reaction to that? Because I mean, so many kids go to casting calls and so many kids, you know, don't really produce results, especially of that stature. It must have been quite a reaction.
I mean, a lot of people couldn't really believe it, you know? It was kind of like,
could you believe it?
Huh?
Could you believe it?
I mean, it's all I know. I don't really know anything else. So, you know, that's really all I know. But I mean, it was really cool though, you know, to see just like someone from Atlanta just kind of make an impact on some children's network on this new show. Pretty crazy.
So did you guys end up moving to LA for the production entirely?
Yeah, we moved to LA.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I still live in Atlanta, you know, like my whole family's in Atlanta, so I still go back. But yeah, in order for production, I had to live in LA. I was working 5 days week. And when I wasn't working 5 days a week, I was doing promotions, or I was at Disney World opening a ride or on a cruise or doing something Disney related. So I had to be close by.
So are we talking like 8 to 10 hour work days, 12-hour work days? Because I know there's laws for kids how much they can work also.
So legally, I could only work 9 hours as a child. But then once I got Corey in the house, those hours extended because then I was an adult. So I could work up to 13, I believe it was. Something like that.
Okay. That's a lot of hours. And
Yeah, but I never really had to work that long because I just knew my lines, knew what I had to do, and I would just get it done.
Okay. So that was the window, but you didn't actually have to be always working for 13.
No, never.
Okay. That makes sense. So at the beginning of That's So Raven, I mean, smash hit. What was that like for you just navigating through life? Were you in regular school at that time? Were you homeschooled?
Yeah, I've been homeschooled since as long as I can remember.
Okay.
I went to a regular school when I was really little, before 7 years old. But other than that, it's been school on set, Disney school. I call it Disney University.
Is it one-on-one with you guys there? Or was it in a little class?
Just me and a teacher.
Okay,
so
cool.
Like all the extras and all the other kids on the show, they had like a separate teacher that Disney would bring in. That way my grades wouldn't fluctuate or I wouldn't get distracted because they needed me to pass my classes because if I got one F, then I can't work. So I had to have great grades.
That was actually part of the show requirements to have good grades.
No, that's a part of SAG-AFTRA union standards.
For kids.
If a kid is failing on television, they cannot work because school is more important than work. Yeah, work is a perk of good grades, not reverse.
Because I guess a lot of people wonder about that because they see these kids having fun and they're wondering how does the education fit in, but it sounds like it worked pretty good.
Yeah, education is first. It's the most important thing. And then if you're good at that, then you can work. It's not reversed.
Interesting. What sort of guidelines did Disney have for you sort of contractually? Did they have anything as to what you could participate in outside or how you could behave? Was it strict?
I don't know if I can legally discuss what guidelines are in my contract.
I guess
but
were there any?
Just know that they're a lot more lenient than everyone believes that they are. And they're a little bit more strict sometimes. So
okay, but they made it in. So so I guess in terms of being in school, it wasn't really an issue. So I guess like when you're going about your everyday life, you're probably with your family. Do you feel famous at that point when you're 7, 8 years old? Are people recognizing you, or was it not like that at the time?
I didn't really know what fame was before I actually knew what being famous was. I was famous, so I didn't really understand what it was. And I feel like that's why a lot of people when they meet me, they're like, "Bro, you're so normal." It's because like normally people are normal and then they become famous, and then they become wealthy, and then that changes them.
Yeah.
But if you've been famous longer than you haven't been, then that's really kind of all you know. So there's really no reason for me to change anything about me because like let's say I'm in Avengers tomorrow. Like no one can say, "Oh, Kyle, he changed."
Right.
There's really nothing to change,
Yeah, same dude.
Like, yeah, what is it? What do I have to, why change?
That's interesting. So how did your relationship with fame and everything that came with it evolve as you got older and as you got Corey in the house? Because obviously your surroundings would be changing. You're probably around more people. How was that to navigate for you?
In what sense though? Like, what do you mean?
I guess in the sense that we see so many people who start at your age and reach the heights that you reached, fall into so many common pitfalls in terms of temptations and people in the Hollywood lifestyle, hangers on, and you seem to have moved through that quite gracefully. So I'm just wondering what do you attribute that to?
I mean, really just like having parents that would just kick my ass if I did any of that. Like I couldn't really come home drunk because my dad is the type of dad is like, if you drunk, don't come to my house.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah, you better sleep in the car. Like, so it was like, that's all it was. Just a fear of just like getting my ass kicked by my dad or, getting something thrown at me by my mom.
That's rare though, because most parents, it seems like they're like Hollywood parents and they want to push their kids and enable their kids, but you don't have that.
Nah, because I'm from Atlanta. And so you understand, I have houses in Atlanta. So a lot of times when I would be on Corey in the House, if I would get a week hiatus or 2 week hiatus, I'd be in Atlanta. So a lot of these other
Right.
kids are caught up in Hollywood or such and such and such and such, but I'm in Atlanta, you know.
So you actually
And at
weren't
that
hanging
time,
out around them.
no, I was, but it's like at that time, that's like around Corey in the House. That's like when I met Bieber, and like I would be in Atlanta with him, and we would, you know what I'm saying. So I would just kind of be on a different spectrum, you know, and like that's
Mhm.
like, you know, because he's like a real normal person too. So it's like, yeah, we're famous, but when we're together, we're just two normal people, and it's just like that kind of helped us just stay normal for. I don't really know how to explain it, man. It's like complicated.
No, that makes sense. And I've thought about Bieber, and he's always seemed quite normal to me. People were making a big deal out of, when he was throwing parties and whatever, but I was like, I'd be doing the same damn thing and probably a lot worse. Do you have some fond memories of those days?
Oh yeah, man. We did it bigger than anyone could do it.
What was that like?
It was, you know, lit.
It was exactly what we'd expect.
Exactly. And more.
And more. That's crazy. I also heard that when you were doing Corey in the House at the height of it, is it true that you actually got invited to the White House to meet President Bush?
Yeah, Bush invited me to the White House, gave me a sick tour. Like I got to go to the kitchen, like 'cause obviously in Corey in the House, my dad was a chef.
Yeah.
So I got to go to the White House kitchen, order whatever I want. Like they signed like a bunch of cool stuff for me. He actually gave me the residence of the White House hat, like the executive resident hat.
Crazy.
So I have like a bunch of cool memorabilia from the White House, man. It was a great time. It was a great time.
That must have been quite a shocking call.
It was pretty badass. It was pretty badass.
Did he watch the show?
I have no idea. Like, I have
That'd
no
be
idea
cool.
what he watching.
Yeah, for real. How about your relationship with Raven Simone? I know you guys seem to be quite close, and that's
Never
a
heard of
relation.
her.
Never heard of her. Yeah, never. I mean,
Never heard of her.
what a relationship to keep for so long. That must be special.
No, me and Raven are super tight. Raven's just always been so real with me. Raven has really taught me everything I know. And Raven is another person that's she's grown, like since she's been famous since she was 3 years old. So it's like Raven has been famous longer than she has been a regular person. So she can't change either, So she kind of taught me how to keep your sanity in the mix of all these things, So Raven is a great role model, great person. And she's just like, she's my first friend that I ever had in LA, and my oldest friend. I love her to death.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you still interact with a lot of your other co-stars like Orlando Brown or Chelsea, the girl who played Chelsea?
Yeah, I always talk to Annalise. She's nuts. I love her to death.
I love you guys'
talk to OB. I
TikToks.
talk to OB every now and then. I talk to Orlando. I'll be checking in on them. Everyone goes through a lot of different things. And when you look at people like Raven and myself, we're just examples of people that were able to get through it. There are more people that fall victim to Hollywood than make it through unscathed.
Yeah.
So the people that go through trials and tribulations, like we can't judge them because we were blessed enough to make it through those exact same problems. So, with Orlando, I'm just always there for him. I tap in with him every now and then to make sure he's okay. But sometimes everything's not for social media. You know what I mean? Everything's not for the world to know. But me and him, we have a great relationship. That's my bro. You know what I mean? One of my oldest friends.
Yeah. Was it difficult for you to see some of the public things that happened? And was there any conversation about that at all?
Yeah, it's hard, because a lot of people they'll make jokes about him and roast him, but they don't really understand, what he's been through. And it's not my place to disclose to you or the world exactly what he's been through. But a person like me that knows, it just, it makes it harder for me to judge him or place blame because I know his situation. So that's why all I do is just let him know that I'm here for him, and that's all I can do. You feel me?
I respect that. And he definitely seems like a good dude. I wish him all the best. Talking about some of the stuff you've done currently, what's your music career going like? I know you got something potentially dropping with Soulja Boy.
Yeah, Big Draco.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Man, me and Soulja been talking about dropping a record. I actually dropped, I was on Soulja's mixtape a few years ago. I produced French Montana's The Casino Life. I got 4 records with Afrojack. So it's just like music is really dope. I've been doing music my whole life. I did the Court in the House theme song as well. That was like one of my first songs. So music has always been something that I've been passionate about. I'm just waiting for the right time to attack it the right way. But I have a TV show coming out in February, so I don't want to distract my fans with too much. I don't want to drop too much at one time. So I'm gonna let the TV show drop, and then I'm gonna take their attention to music.
That's awesome. Is there anything you can tell us about the show, or is that still under wraps?
Oh no, the show's out. We already did the full press release. It's called Millennials. It's with myself, Philip Bolden, Aaron Grady, Keyron Harris, Katie Florence. It is produced and directed by Bentley Kyle Evans, who famously produced and directed Fresh Prince and the Martin Lawrence Show, as well as a lot of other legendary Black television shows. So we just signed a deal with UMC, and it comes out in February. It's hype.
Wow, that's going to be insane. I can't wait to see that. One thing that I thought of in terms of everything that happened in 2020, it was an insane year, obviously. And, a lot of things about protesting and racial tensions. As a prominent, African-American influencer, did you feel any pressure on your shoulders to address those issues? And if so, were you comfortable to do that? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I address certain things, and I feel like everyone's gonna have their own opinion about what's going on in the world, and I understand that my opinion doesn't help or hurt certain people's opinion. So a lot of times I would just choose out of respect for other people's thoughts and opinions and emotions to just kind of just keep quiet. Just out of respect for, you never know how people are going to take it. A lot of people are very, for lack of a better word, sensitive right now when it comes to, certain people saying certain things. So a lot of times I choose to be silent, but it's just like sometimes when it gets out of hand, I just have to speak up, and I don't have a choice, So yeah, I've stepped up and talked about it a bunch of times, but yeah, I just choose to just observe, and I speak on it, in my private life. But like I said, sometimes everything is not for social media,
Yeah, I completely agree. And, even though I do my show and I talk to people, I try to keep my shit under wraps. And I respect people such as yourself who carry themselves with dignity and show the people the side of themselves that they want to and keep their personal life to themselves. So I have a lot of respect for you for that.
Yeah, man. I've been practicing keeping my personal life personal for years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And you've done a damn good job.
You would know everything about me. If I was bad at keeping quiet, you would know everything about me. You wouldn't even need to interview me.
Yeah, it's true. We'd have all the lowdown already.
You already have it.
Hey, Kyle, thank you so much for your time today, man. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
I appreciate it, man. Stay blessed, bro. And make sure you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, all that. You dig.
100%. We got everything in the description down below. Appreciate you, man. Take care.
All right, bro. Love, man.
And there you have it. My exclusive interview with Kyle Massey. I want to thank Kyle and his team for carving out the time to do this. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to go check him out on all social media. We have the links in the description below wherever you're currently listening, be it YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio. Wherever you're tuning into this right now, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, leave a comment or review to let me know what you think of the content that's been coming out. Follow me on all social media at Cassius Morris and at Cassius Show. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, this is Cassius Morris saying, rock on.